this is Victor. I'm here with a new video, and this time I want to share with you some of my first miniatures. As you will see, some of them have even a little bit of dust on top. These are quite old miniatures, so I start painting around 1996. Okay, so and these are the first miniatures I ever paint. So the one that you can see, you see here is the Space Marine that the first miniature I ever paint. It was coming with a paint starter set of Games Workshop, where I think I had 8 paints maybe, one of each, one green, one red, one blue. You know, very yeah, really a starter set with a brush. And this was my first miniature, but it was, to be fair, it was repainted a little bit later on. So you can see here, yeah, this was the Space Marine from second edition. I think was as well one of the first plastic miniatures ever from Games Workshop, and this was the typical base of that period of time. Okay, so yeah, this was one of the first I started from the back. Nothing else, and then yeah, is where I also practice how to put decals. To be fair, the shoulder part of the Space Marines is not the best place to put decals because it has double curvature and it's very easy to have bubbles or wrinkles. So you can see a lot of defects, not too many highlights, and yeah, and some dust on the miniature. So let's go. And this is the second miniature. These 2 miniatures were coming in the paint starter set, so this was the miniatures I practiced and I paint for the first time. Yeah, you can see no highlights on the red. This is try to be a little bit of metallic, and then yellow dry brushing on the red. So no highlights on the black and yellow highlights on the red. I mean yellow dry brushing. So really, and then I don't know why, some years after I decided to do these purple things on top, but yeah, this was just some of the first miniatures. You can see this was the other plastic. Yeah, this was the plastic Chaos Warriors from that time. Okay, again, a little bit of dust on top. Sorry for that. And this was my first hero. And one of my first miniatures, maybe not the first, maybe this was, but was in the first year. Okay, and here I was trying to do some dry brushing to do these color transitions. I was to start experimenting, no idea how to do highlights on black. As you can see here, I wanted to do pale skin, so I went for white directly. So, but I was this miniature, maybe it's the one I use the most in my game. So I really like this one. I was playing Chaos at the period of time, and I really use it a lot. And this is the who was painted at the time. So this has never been repainted, except to sometimes I have to put a little bit of black when the paint is chipped out a little bit, or was chipped out at the period of time. Here, this is all metal, and this from here is very easy to chip out paint. Okay, so you can see again, very experimental, trying to do strange things like this yellow dry brushing on top of this red there. The pistol, I think the pistol is the thing that is the best. The weapon is the best on this miniature. Okay, and this is a fantasy miniature from the same year. Well, the guess is I bought it the same year. Okay, so these are my initial. When I start playing Warhammer 40,000, I start with Warhammer 40,000. I was start playing Chaos, and the only kits I had at that period of time, I think, was the Berserkers, the Khorne Berserkers in plastic, and the Terminators in metal. And there was not more. I think you had to use fantasy miniatures, and this was a fantasy miniature and was coming like that. Okay, so there is not conversion here. This was a Thainch hero on disc. Okay, so this were how the discs were looking like at the period of time. The paint have chipped a little bit here, but you can see the red is really more, it's very pinkish. And I started trying to use the black to add some to add some more definition on the colors. But the curious thing is this is Yeah, this is very 40-ish, but it was really a pure fantasy miniature. I don't know why in fantasy in the past the French heroes had plasma weapons. Okay. This was my unit of Terminators, the first unit I paint for my army. Okay, dry brushing here, very easily to detect. Black with silver decorations. Very basic paint job. This was with assault cannon in that moment of time. They were not even there were not existing Reaper cannons. They were just a copy paste of the Terminators of the Loyals, but changing some parts to make them look more chaotic, like this weapon, the decoration on the Stormbolters, and then the symbols. Okay, so you can see this is a chaos symbol on this guy. This is the sergeant of the unit. Then we have here the overview. Okay, the bases have been repainted, as you can see. So they used to have the green base, and they are on 25mm base. And these were also some of my first demons, so the Narglings. So all this is from the first 2 years when I started painting. Okay, so Narglings, and this was a headache to paint them because I glue it on the base before painting, and some parts were difficult to access because there is Nargling in the way. I was styled of painting red Narglings, and this is why you have brown and gray Narglings here. I did 6 bases at the moment of time. They were coming in square bases. There were not existing big round bases, and I was playing with that in Warhammer 40,000. You can see all the highlights. My many techniques were dry brushing, and that's all. Okay, base coat, dry brush. It was my techniques on the period of time. I don't think I even had inks, and I didn't know how to apply inks in this period of time. So there were not existing washers, and the only thing that you can use was inks, and I did not have clue how to use them in this period of time. Plague Bear, I only have 3 Plague Bears. These are the very all metal, and I was very happy that I tried to do these veins in the eye. But you can see I had the clue how to do injuries. They just read, tongue red. Again, no, only a little bit of advice. I need to correct this. I have, yeah, some of them have some. The metal and miniatures are a little bit painful. They always have chipping. And let me just go back a little bit. You can see the red. I'm surprised. I did the red in the right way, but I think was by mistake, right? Because I cannot do the by brushing, but this was red with layers of brushing of yellow. That's all. I think I was very happy on the sword when I painted for that time. This is a guy that was one of my favorite guys in my collection for a while. Okay, I really like this miniature. I think it's a really nice sculpt. Here you have better and focus, and I like how it was looking like when I painted. So yeah, and yeah, to have this yellow, to have this yellow, this red, it was a mistake. Okay, I painted first blue. I did not like, and then I paint red on top, and I had this. At the end, I had this color, and I leave it because the only red I had was this one there, the blood. I think was called Blood Angel Red. Okay, so this was really a mistake, and the red was so transparent. At the end, okay, it looks good, nice, and I leave it. I was also very happy how the face was looking like in this period of time. I think it's one of my best miniatures from this period. And these are 3 heroes that you were buying in the blister, and these were the 3 Thench heroes. And all of them were coming, they were heroes for fantasy, so this is very fantasy one. The one in the middle is a sorcerer, but the one in the left of the picture, the one in the right, they don't have any conversion. So this had this like laser stick and a plasma pistol, and it has the backpack of a power armor. And this guy came with the laser pistol as well. Okay, so here you have, this is I use this guy a lot because I like to play a lot with sorcerers, so I was using him a lot in my second edition Warhammer 40,000. This guy I also like it, but yeah. Yeah, I was not very happy at the period of time how it was looking like. I did not like how I wanted to do it very bold. And at the end, it was looking very weird. And the blue was very, yeah, too many colors in one miniature. So this is the problem I did on this miniature. As you can see, I was using too many colors in the period of time per miniature, and this was making them a little bit too colorful. Then the black was not well applied, but okay. It was what it was, and then I did not know how to do transitions. The only way to do this transition that I always like to do was just I try to do it by dry brushing, but it's not the right way to go. Okay, you can see this is the back. To say there is not a conversion, so this is a fantasy miniature, and this is also fantasy miniature. Yeah, I don't know why I paint him in green because yeah, I have no clue about Thench at the period of time, but green is not really Thench. This was more for a, would say for an Nurgle colors, but I don't care. Yeah, it was clearly a Thench one. I like a lot the pistol because I know the pistol, I like it a lot. And it's very strange that we have this type of miniature that is supposed to be fantasy with a type of blast pistol. And this is, now you are going to see the Great Demon. So this is the Nurgle one. Again, I did not have clue how to do injuries or this type of pustules and so on. I tried to pick up all the details, to be fair. And here I was using the chestnut. This is the only ink I had, and I started using here the chestnut ink. This is the only ink I know I had and know how to use it. You also can see that the paints were a little bit satin. Okay. And yeah, this I remember when I bought this miniature and I arrived at home. I don't know how long it took me to assemble. This was really very weird pieces of metal without instructions, and yeah, and was a pain to assemble. A real pain to assemble. I still remember that, but I was very happy when it was painted. This was my favorite demon from this period, and other thing is still from today. I always like the Great Demons of Khorne, the Bloodthirster, very doggy. Okay, and as you can see, main techniques, dry brushing everywhere. My gold was very bad. Okay, this gold I have, I know how to apply, but in the period of time I didn't know, was very transparent gold, very difficult to apply, and this is why I have this very strange gold there. I like a lot how the axe was looking like, even though. So I think here the dry brushing really worked well, and I had a nice result. Okay, black on the wings and flat, no highlights. I just want to share this with you to see that nobody starts knowing how to paint, and yeah, this is the Lord of Change from Thench. So nobody knows starting this hobby knowing how to paint, and we have to make an effort. So this picture was not the group, but okay, you can see. Okay. But yeah, I like that I wanted to do the eyes. So I like to see these pictures because I remember me where I was. Okay, and this you can see the skin is really. He looks like he has a skin illness, right? Or the skin is being born or something like that. Right? Very curious as well. Very we'll say steampunk, no? Very punky miniature with these boots. So it's really a very weird miniature to have. It's like a minotaur with a bob, and then we have this type of boots, very strange miniature. For arms, you can see the joints were not well sealed and anything like that. So I just wanted to make this video to show you what was my starting point, what I did on the first time, and yeah, and to show you that also Games Workshop have evolved a lot of miniatures, right? especially on the four great demons. So I like to play them. In the past, I was playing even with four of them on the table. You were able to do it in Warhammer 40,000, and yeah, one was mainly Hero Hammer. So a lot of nice, memories from this period. I had a lot of nice memories of my second edition game. I think maybe is the edition that I played the most, and then in third edition as well. These demons were used in third edition from time to time. Okay, but we'll say that the most used ones, this was mainly used in second edition, all of them. Okay, in third edition the rules change a lot. They were not useful anymore, and then they started putting real miniatures out there, and I can retire all these miniatures. Let me go back to, yeah, maybe we can finish. So this, another video. I hope you enjoyed this one. I hope you enjoyed watching these all miniatures with very bad paint jobs. But just to show you that there is a point where we all start. There is a point, this is our first miniatures, and we are not always doing this correctly, and we have to learn. All of us, we had to learn on our way to miniature painting. So I hope you have enjoyed, as I said, and yeah, and as usual, thanks a lot for watching, and see you again later. Bye.